If you've known me for more than 6 minutes, you probably know that I am a massive fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. I grew up with it, and I'll keep liking it until the day I die. If my tombstone isn't Sonic themed, I'm gonna be like Spider-Man in Kraven's Last Hunt. But recently, I read a spin-off, I think, of the most recent Sonic series published by IDW, Sonic the Hedgehog Scrapnik Island. It was only 4 issues, so I said, hey, why not, and jumped into it, not knowing that I was genuinely starting 4 issues of peak fiction. And I am not saying that because I have a bias for Sonic. Okay, maybe a little bit. So Scrapnik Island, like I said, is considered a spin-off to the latest main series. It follows Sonic, obviously, and Tails flying in the tornado. They get caught in a really bad storm before landing on an island, the same island that the Death Egg landed on. For those who don't know, the Death Egg is Eggman's like Death Star, first shown in Sonic 2 if I'm not wrong. Sonic wakes up realizing that he had not only fallen unconscious, but also broke his ankle. He begins exploring the area, wanting to find Tails, who is nowhere to be found. The island also seems to be deserted, or so we think. Sonic eventually runs into the Egg Carrier, a big battleship from the first Sonic adventure. But before he has any time to investigate, he's interrupted by a beat-up looking Badnik, and then more appear, leaving Sonic a bit frightened. Luckily, it's just a few Badniks, that is, until he bumps into none other than Mecha Sonic Mark II, who we'll just call Mecha or Mecha Sonic to avoid confusion. That's right, everyone's favorite character from the Minecraft Sonic DLC. Jokes aside, this is incredibly cool because Mecha Sonic was always a personal favorite growing up, along with Metal Sonic and Shard. I think I just really like robots. But yeah, Mecha was always cool because I loved his design, but he was never really in a lot of stuff. I mean, the main reason I like him so much is because I grew up with that fan-made series, Super Mario Bros. Z, which featured Mecha as one of the villains. But anyway, Sonic runs away, knowing that he is not in the best situation, especially with his broken foot brace thing. As he's running, he eventually bumps into Tails, who is just chilling with these Badniks. Turns out they're not evil, and they call themselves Scrapniks. Oh my god, he said the thing. The thing is the thing, it's the title. It's the title of the comic. We learned from E117 Sigma that the storm was actually their fault, and they're the reason Sonic and Tails were thrown onto the island. But luckily, they'll help fix Tails' plane, welcoming the two to Scrapnik Island. Oh my god, he said the thing. I especially love this panel of Tails geeking out, and that's the first issue, and honestly, it's a great opening. It has a really fun idea, brings back a character that I feel never gets enough love because of how awesome he looks. But when continuing this story, I began to love Mecha Sonic for more than just his design. Mecha Sonic Mark II never really had, like, lore to him, to my knowledge, nor did he appear in many games. His biggest appearance was his first one in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, but in this, to say they expanded on his character is an understatement. What was once a soulless puppet made by Eggman has now been turned into genuinely one of my favorite characters, and that's how he began to feel during issue 2, when Sonic tries to have this heart-to-heart with Mecha, wanting to put the past aside and squashing their beef. But sadly, it is cut short when Mecha Knuckles ruins the moment, attempting to kill the two Sonics. But when Mecha takes a blow to the face, things begin to glitch out, old memories coming back, memories of when he was nothing but a killing machine, letting us see into Mecha Sonic's mind. We're brought back to, seemingly, the events of Sonic 3. We see how Mecha was treated back then, and the things that were said to him. How Mecha was nothing but another boss battle to Sonic, or that he was nothing but a new toy for Eggman to use. Mecha Sonic was simply trash in the end. And that's kinda how it felt when playing Sonic 3. I didn't care for how Mecha Sonic felt as a character or how what I'm doing may affect him because he was just a robot, he's just a boss battle. So this is a really fun and interesting way to use this character that I personally never cared for other than his design. But this is something that Mecha Sonic doesn't like. The moment he regains consciousness, he brutally destroys Mecha Knuckles before putting Sonic against the wall, letting his past feelings get to him. And sadly, Mecha seems to spiral even more in the next issues, believing that now, his mind is clearer than ever. He fights everyone, even the Scrapniks that rebuilt and welcomed him, and we see how his past is clearly affecting him currently, specifically when he says, "Now you'll see what it feels like to be thrown away," towards Tails. But that's not even the worst part, when you see that Mecha has trapped Sonic and plans to take his body for himself, to download his mind into Sonic's body so that Eggman never forgets him again. Luckily, Mecha is stopped in the middle of his plan, but Sonic and Mecha's brains are still semi-linked. Mecha can hear Sonic's thoughts, and Sonic can as well, while also being able to feel Mecha's emotions. Mecha describes what he went through, that he's experienced more pain than Sonic could ever imagine, being cast aside, robbed of his value and purpose. Sonic and Mecha have a heated battle under the island, running at high speeds, exchanging blows, until Sonic finally lands a massive kick on Mecha, even breaking his metal cast. This hit seems to jog Mecha's memory, reminding him of when he first woke up on the island, of when he first felt true friendship and peace with the other Scrapniks. But it's too late now. His original mission to kill Sonic was a failure, and his most recent mission to protect the Scrapniks was also a failure. He is a failure in every way. He is trash. But Sonic isn't having that, so with the help of the others, Sonic and Mecha eventually get out of their dangerous situation. And we have this really good and really tender moment where Sonic begins to tear up, but when Tails asks him about it, Sonic says that they aren't his tears, and then it pans over to Mecha as he embraces all of his friends. And that's how the story ends. The tornado gets fixed, and so Sonic and Tails get ready to leave, while Mecha Sonic gives us some insanely good dialogue. It is honestly worthy of being like a quote or something. The value of one's existence isn't determined by success and failures. Both are fleeting and impermanent. What truly matters is having the courage to keep moving forward. I see that now. I know not what the future holds for me, for any of us, and that uncertainty is disquieting. Life is disquieting. But with the help of my friends, I'll face it head on. I'm done being controlled by yesterday. I'm going to live for tomorrow. It ends on such an incredibly satisfying note. Scrapnik Island, in my eyes, is straight up phenomenal. It takes a character who never really got the spotlight and finally gave it to him, while also just generally expanding on his overall character. Seeing Mecha Sonic be given an entire arc and an entire mini-series that explores his internal struggles and stuff, it was something I found really enjoyable to read, adding so much depth to a character who never used to have any. I also love his design here. Now I might be looking too deep into it, but the Scrapnik design of Mecha is one of my new favorites. He's not clean or shiny like in Sonic 3. He's busted up, his old paint scratched off, he's not even blue anymore, with these new limbs. He's not the way Eggman created him and envisioned him. And though his limbs are taken from other badniks, he's not the way he was before. He's not some pawn for Eggman to use. Like I said before, this story takes a once soulless one-time boss battle and humanizes him, completely expanding on his story, making it honestly one of my new favorites and one of the best in recent Sonic media. If I'm being honest, this is one of my new favorite comics, and I'm not caught up to the main series, but I really hope that Mecha comes back someday. Whether he's an integral character or just a cameo, I think I just want him to come back one more time. But here's my thoughts on Scrapnik Island. If you enjoyed, hit those buttons because it helps me as a creator. Also, comment down below your favorite Sonic stuff, whether it's a character or a game, whatever. I'll take any excuse to talk about this blue rat. That's it for me though, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.
It ain't hard to tell, I excel, then